I was in this amazing, like, dream job where I'm traveling the world and going to wine country, and that's my work. And everybody was like, "What the heck? Why would you leave that job?" And then 6 weeks later, I got a call from the board of directors, and they said, "You know what? One of the proctors had given some answers away to some of the students, so we're invalidating your exam." And what I didn't know is that walking into that room, the room completely crumbled on me. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm not meant to do this anymore. What am I meant to do?
If you've ever held it together for a guest while you're falling apart inside, this podcast is for you. I'm Matt Pye, and this is The Hospitality Effect. Real, unfiltered stories from people showing up at hospitality. We talk about connection, community, and what this work does for our mental health. So hit subscribe, give us a like, and come hang out with us on our next shift.
Really excited that you're here. I want to preface to everyone that, it's the hospitality effect. And, we want to talk about how hospitality influences people and influences, other aspects of the world. And I know when we initially talked, you're like, I don't know how I would bring value.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, I'm not in hospitality anymore. I said, but that's the point. Right. Like, I want everyone to see that foundation that exists for all these people that have come through this space, have now, gone off and done other things. And this is not just because it's entry level, because it's not really anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is a trade, right? And I think we should have always been treating it as a trade.
Yeah.
It's just underpaid trade. It's not, you're not a carpenter or a plumber, right?
Yeah.
And I just love to see, not just the success stories, but the way people have made this their own, evolved it into something else, right? And I think you're just a great example of that. And I hope that, you're excited to share your stories and your experiences and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the chance. And I loved our chat afterwards because I was like, I'm always going to want to make sure I'm providing value. And what's the point of coming in and sharing my voice if it's not going to provide value? And our conversation we had with it was beautiful. And so I'm really excited. Yeah.
And I, again, always share these things with people contextually. Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like it's so one-sided or just, it's always, hyper-focused on what this is. And everyone told me at the beginning, you have to find what your voice is or who you're talking to. And I'm like, but we're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And sharing these stories with people so that they understand, like, there are great things that come out of this because we've vilified this industry too much.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I just want to prevent some of that, right? I want to educate. I want to, give people the experiences that are on both sides, internal and external.
Yeah.
So I guess the first question is, what drew you into hospitality? Was it a natural calling? Like, what brought you together into this?
So I started hospitality when I was 14. And I was in the place of most people, like, you're in high school, you need to pay for things that you do. And so I started at Popeyes. And
hilarious.
First job, Popeyes smelled like fried chicken every single day when I came home. And I did that for a year and I was like, okay, I like this. And then I moved into Red Robin and then I moved into IHOP and then you just grow from there. And then I was in Colorado Springs at the time and there's a hotel out there called the Broadmoor, which is, I think still is the longest standing 5-star 5-diamond hotel.
Correct. Yes. I think that's accurate, but yes.
Yeah. And so I worked at the Broadmoor for a while and that was my first, in my opinion, the first hospitality program I got into. Because yes, customer service is hospitality, but you don't really get taught that.
Sure.
And then at Broadmoor, I mean, you are taught how to be 5-star 5-diamond hospitality. And it is a very intricate process. And if you're walking, whether you're in uniform or not, every single person you walk by, you look in the eye, you smile at them, you say hello. If somebody needed something like that was a Coke property, but if somebody wanted Pepsi, you run and you go get them a Pepsi and you just let your boss know, I'm running down the street to go get a Pepsi for this person. And I was like, oh, this is like, we can treat people like this?
Yeah,
like,
that's the Ritz-Carlton thing. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah. And so that's where I think it started to blossom. And then it paid my way through college. It paid my way through moving to Vegas. I moved here on a whim and had no clue what I was going to do, but I knew I had a hospitality background and I knew Vegas was a hospitality city and I got a job the second day I moved out here.
Do you think that is, I guess, one of the most influential experiences? Like you came through that, but that was, like one of those drivers?
Hands down. Broadmoor, it's special and it still is special. I love going back and walking around the lake and it's just a different vibe. And so the fact of you can be the nicest person on the planet and that's your job was a draw for me. Because a lot of times we think of hospitality as like, oh, they're stuck up, they're going to say no, oh, these things. And that was me seeing it doesn't have to be that way. And I don't have to be that way. I can be my kind, genuine self, and I'm rewarded for that.
Right.
And so that, I think that definitely Broadmoor itself was influential.
Have you gone back years later as a customer?
To Broadmoor?
As a guest?
Oh, yes.
Same experience?
Not as much, but I'm not going to say to a full degree, yes, but not to a full degree, no, either.
So we've been talking about this. We talked a little bit about it on the last podcast. So we can touch on this a little bit too, is do you think that is your perception, or do you think that that's the reality? Do you think it's a degradation of the standard or the degradation of the people that are maintaining the standard? And there's like 10 questions there.
Yeah.
Right. But like, those are all the things that go through my mind when I walk into a space that I've been at previously, because we worked at some of the similar places at the same time and at different.
Yep.
And you walk in, you're just like, this is not what we did.
This is different. I mean, to answer the question, everything is perception. So reality, that's a controversial thing right there. So everything is perception. And so I think it was I think that's part of this fantasy thing that you build up in your head, that it's always going to be this most immaculate experience. I do think hospitality has, I'm not going to say it's taken a full back seat, but it's definitely taken a passenger seat since the pandemic. I think there are some places that do hospitality really incredibly well.
Agreed.
And those are thriving. And
Agreed.
then I think you see a lot of places who have either they're overstaffed, they're tired, whatever the case it is, but something has fallen to the wayside when it comes to hospitality. And as a customer, you feel that. And you don't feel that same like love and acceptance and like that cozy hug that you feel when you go into a place when hospitality is by far the foundation. When that foundation crumbles a little bit, you can feel it.
Yeah, I recently had an experience on a task force position with Marriott, and it was a franchise location. Right. So you see where some of the standards aren't maintained as well as they should. And you start to develop a little bit more, I don't want to say lackadaisical attitude, but you're trying to check boxes.
Yeah.
Right. And what I experienced was, and I contributed to it, so I'm taking full responsibility, where I arrived and I'm like, I think the best course of action right now is to get you guys as close to what the brand standards are. Because you're going to get shopped. They had just passed one shop, and then they were waiting for their second shop because it was a dual property. And I'm like, I think the best course of action is get you back to brand standard and see if we can help you maintain that level, right? Because that is what we're here for, right? But that is, it's that 1, 2, 3 system. You're expected to be a 2, right? You meet expectation.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you to meet expectations. Then you guys have to develop a way to exceed.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is another way of how people approach leadership now, right? Like, and I think your Broadmoor example, it was probably at that time people were looking to exceed expectations on all levels.
Yeah.
And now I genuinely believe people show up to meet the expectation, and it's so unfortunate, right? It's every day you see people checking a box.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not great.
Well, and I think that's part of it. Is hospitality checking a box? It's not.
It's not.
Hospitality is coming in and going above and beyond, and it's doing the right thing, whatever the right thing is, and seeing and anticipating and doing. And I think there's this realm of anticipation that was ingrained in maybe our generation that isn't as ingrained anymore. Why that is, I don't have the answer. But I think that's where the fall comes in. Are you a company that focuses on truly hospitality, or are you a company that's checking boxes? And you can feel the difference. You
can. And, there are companies out there that are great at that and companies that aren't.
Yeah.
And I believe when you walk into something that's authentic, you know immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And, I want to kind of give that message to people where anybody that's watching this or anybody that's listening to this, bring your authentic self, right? Be genuine.
Yeah.
And I understand people treat things differently. Like you go into a certain space and they're like, this is your script, you read it. This is how you answer the phone. There's no equivocation, right? It's this or nothing. Right. And that's unfortunate. Right. But I always tell people we created a script for you to build on, right? This is your foundation. Now make it your own, right? Like be an individual.
Yeah.
So how have you, I guess, evolved out of that? You've grown a little bit. You've had a great foundation. where did you find your aha moment that kind of propelled you out of this?
Out of hospitality.
Out of hospitality.
Into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
The aha moment was, I don't know if aha would be the word I would use.
We like to be dramatic.
Yeah. No, I think it's more dramatic than that. I think it's like the beatdown moment. Like there was something that happened that, like, I think in a lot of people, when you're on a path and you're meant to go on another path, something dramatic has to happen to move that path. And that happened for me.
Okay.
And I was on the path. I was doing amazingly well in the hospitality world. I moved into being a director of education at Southern Glaciers for a while. I was training the staff of the city, and I was in this amazing, like, dream job where I'm traveling the world and going to wine country, and that's my work. And everybody was like, what the heck? Why would you leave that job? But I had an exam that I took, which is called the Master Sommelier exam. And I took that exam in 2018. I took a couple years, but 2018 was the year that I ended up passing the exam. And then 6 weeks later, I got a call from the board of directors, and they said, you know what, one of the proctors had given some answers away to some of the students, so we're invalidating your exam. You need to come back and sit again. And me, being my little goody two-shoes self, was like, no problem, I'll come sit again. I don't want anybody to think that I knew any of the answers. And what I didn't know is that walking into that room, the room completely crumbled on me. And I didn't know to prepare myself for defending my title. Sure. I was just, when you're sitting for the exam, you're showing your abilities. You're showing all of, exactly. Yeah. And it didn't even come into my brain that there was a psychological point to it. And that psychological point, unfortunately, or truly fortunately, actually, opened up a lot of wounds. And a lot of things that I compartmentalized in little boxes that I put different padlocks on, like Russian doll style. Sure. Everything is packed away in its neat little boxes, and it's never coming out again because I've locked you away 17 times. And at some point, things blow up. And that room crumbling on me and that process of going back into the exam is what blew everything up for me. And it put me into a depression. It put me into a reevaluating my life. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm not meant to do this anymore. What am I meant to do? And it took some time to figure it out. And if you would have asked me, would it be entrepreneurship? I probably would have said no. But that was the turning point.
Was there anything, in those months, weeks, days that were leading up into, that occurring and you evolving into what you're in now? Mm-hmm. What was the one thing that you could give someone advice on to say, like, look, listen to yourself, mm-hmm. right? Like, be genuine. Mm-hmm. And, you had this feeling, you had this emotion, whatever. What came up for you in those times that you're like, this is it?
There's this, I call it the whisper. There's a whisper in your gut that says something's off. And if you don't listen to the whisper will start to get louder. And I put that whisper down for a long time. I was like, shh, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And at some point, something's going to say, I'm not fine and you're not listening to me. And I'm going to get louder, so you listen to me. And that was it. It was starting as a whisper of saying, I don't know if this is the right path. I don't know if this is my dream anymore. I don't know if this fits me anymore. And it took me, I think, probably 3 years to fully listen to that voice, because I just didn't want to believe it. I worked my whole life for this thing, and I had a little bit of an ego tied to the title as well. And yes. My identification was in the title, and everything I built, that's how people knew me. And who was I if I went away from that?
I think that this is such an amazing share right now. I just had a phone call on my drive home about this exact thing. Complete coincidence.
Yeah.
And my friend was, basically defining all of these things. And, he's like, what's the evolution? Because I'm only this, right? It's all I know. It's everything. And, we've talked about it repeatedly. Like, you can't define yourself by your work, right? Like, there's so much more to you as a human being. And there are genuinely better things to use to give yourself credibility.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, there's something to be said about what we've accomplished, because I don't know how old you were at the time, because it's irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've done this for over 20 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
So what? I said, I'm not trying to diminish what you've done. I'm not trying to diminish what you're doing.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, who cares?
Yeah.
You will find equally as much satisfaction doing something else. And you've gone adjacent a little bit. Yeah. Go adjacent and then go further.
Yeah.
But understand that you've excelled in this.
Mm-hmm.
You will excel in the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many people come to you, because what he's looking to do is adjacent to what we're doing anyways.
Yeah.
Look at how many people come to you and you're like, how do you continue to maintain this? Because you're just not the right person for this. You will take that next position, exceed, excel, and become the manager of that too.
Yeah.
Right? You'll become the director of that after that. And you're going to continue to grow, continue to develop, have a new skill set. And you won't have the stresses that you have now. And you know, you feel fulfilled when you come in every day. I said, but the entire basis of this conversation all started when you were discussing your family. How beautiful is that? It had nothing to do with your job.
Yeah.
You're doing all of that for them.
Yeah.
So go do something else for them too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, again, really good advice, because it's just people need to hear that they need to get there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long it takes. Take your time.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
But make the decision.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be afraid.
Yeah. And it's okay if it's scary.
Yeah.
Like there's a woman who I work with, her name is Sandra Yancey, and she always says, courage builds confidence.
I love that.
Confidence doesn't come first. Courage comes first. And if you don't have the courage to take that step, you're never going to have the confidence. So start with courage, lean into the fear, lean in. She also says fear means feel everything and rise.
I love that too.
And
That's
it's
so
just
great.
like dive into it. Fear is an initiator, and you can run from it, but it's going to chase you.
And that's where you learn.
Yeah.
Like, you're not learning the things that you already know. Going and doing something new or experimenting, you know, doing something completely different is how you're going to learn the next thing.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like, have the challenge again. I was at the peak of what I was doing. There was nothing really that was going to challenge me anymore. And I think that was part of that internal voice too, is like, well, now what? Like, you can't really go higher than this. You've done all the things.
Sure.
What are you going to do now? And I think that was part of it. It's like, well, for that exam specifically, I spent 8 years spending my whole life working towards that exam. And then I'm like, well, if I've already done all this, like, what was the point of doing it if I'm leaving it? And it's like, the point of it wasn't it.
Yeah.
The point of it was the journey, which is, you know, some people hate that. It's all about the journey, but it really is.
It is. Fully support and agree with that. 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I think that kind of leads into what I think the next question could be is, you know, I'm currently trying to open a new restaurant. You've shared, you know, some of those experiences with me, and restaurants are hard. And,
Yes.
I think one of the things that we've talked about developing is like what our hospitality philosophy is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think I love that term. Like, I love the philosophy part of it. And, you know, I've got all these bullet points that I've been putting together, but is that something that you've thought about? Do you kind of codify things that way? Like, what would be your philosophy to this? Like, how you know, ingrain it into what you're doing?
You know, it's funny because I think if you would have asked me this question a month ago, I don't know if I could have answered it, because it's something that's come to me recently.
Interesting.
And it's from a place of what's in it for them. Not what's in it for you.
Okay.
What's in it for them? What is the benefit of them coming to your restaurant? What's the benefit of them picking you over the, I don't know, however many thousands of restaurants we have out here? What's in it for them? And I think we think all the time like, ooh, I think this would be great. And I think that would be great. And this would be cool. And ooh, let's do this. And if you're not coming in from the perspective of the person who's going to be enjoying it, that's not hospitality. And so my philosophy is pull yourself out of your visionary brain, out of your entrepreneur brain, out of your manager brain, and put yourself into the guest's shoes. When you sit down, what do you see? What does it look like? I mean, like something as simple as this, you've created an absolutely beautiful space and you have very intricate things in here for it to feel cozy. And if
Thank
the
you.
guests
Shout
come,
out to Mel.
shout out to Mel. And for the guests to come in and be like, I feel hugged, I feel warm, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel like I'm going to get an experience when I come in here.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. And
I love the way you're framing that, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know how to put that in a word.
It doesn't, you don't have to. Like, that is, I think all those things kind of, you know, boil down to what we genuinely need to be doing is putting ourselves in the guest seat,
Yeah.
right? And seeing what those interactions and those touch points are. And,
Yeah.
you know, something that let's just say I have these 10 things that I was trying to figure out, and I consolidated a few the other day, and the word I came up with was presence.
Yeah.
Right? And that can speak volumes to different people at different times in different ways, right?
Yeah.
But it's what your presence is, how you showed up today. And I think it goes from the guest-facing side, but what I really want to focus in this restaurant is how we show up every day for each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not just those people that come in every day. It's when you walked in here today, you said hi to everyone, right? It's something I've always struggled with is saying goodbye. I'll say hi to everyone, right? But I disappear.
Yeah.
I have to be better.
The Irish goodbye.
Right. You just have to be better, right? But it's how you show up every day and you present yourself. And in that way, I get that today might be challenging for you. How did you maintain your positivity for the people around you and utilize them to the best of their abilities too, right? Instead of focusing on those negative attributes, focus on the positive. What is that person really good at that they can help you and you can learn from? Instead of being like, oh, well, that person's always on their phone. Great. If they're always on their phone and they're always at the coffee station, hey, can you do me a favor? I just got triple sat. Can you get me 2 Cokes, a diet, and a Sprite? Sure. Because they're already back there, not doing what they're supposed to be doing anyways.
Yeah.
Utilize them. And they're like, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because they know you're busy.
Yeah.
Again, just something fun and, a little satirical, but it's use people to their strengths.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful way to frame it, though. I think I really, really like that. I'm going to listen to this multiple times so that I can steal it.
Yeah, it's yours. Take it.
I'm going to incorporate that.
I want to add a little something to it because hospitality is also for our coworkers and employees or any of that as well. And I think we come in and you're supposed to leave your life at the door and you come in and you're in this persona, but we're human.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. And if you say when you come in that it's okay to have an environment where you are vulnerable and it's okay and safe to be vulnerable and say, can we cuss on this?
Yeah.
I'm having a really shit day. And that's not even a bad cuss word, but I want to make sure first. I'm having a really shit day. Heads up, guys, I'm not 100% today. If you guys can help me, that would be really beneficial to me. Or, hey, I see your energy's a little off today. Are you okay? What's going on with you? How can I support you so you operate well today?
Yes.
And I don't think that's done in the hospitality industry.
Agree. And one of the definitions I'm coming up with is a level of trust and vulnerability as one of the topics. And that is exactly it, right? Like you have to know that I can come up to you today and be like, listen, it's been a really challenging day. I put my dog to sleep. I'm going to need some support today. You should be comfortable talking to your fellow employee. You should be able to talk to your management. You should be able to talk to anybody in the space and ask for that help. And they should want to help, right? Like they should want to be there for you. But I think a lot of people, to your point, bury these emotions, right? They hide it all down and then it becomes explosive and it's just continually buried and it's not ever dealt with until it's too late. And, that goes to the mental health and everything else that, we struggle with. And I think that's a really great way to put it too. I think that's a really valid point. Well, what inspires you to, I guess, take that philosophy and incorporate into what you're doing today and make things better?
I think that there is a era of the world right now that is in a space of entitlement and in a space of selfishness or self-absorption, maybe is the better way to say that. And I think if one person can be a light, that light moves. It's like a candle. You get the candle close enough, or a magnet. You get the magnet close enough. It's that thing. And I've always been in the mindset of it's the hospitality mindset. How can I make someone else happy? How can I help someone in some sort of way? And I've done that to my own detriment. So there's a balance to that, for sure. But in a world where self-absorption is a thing and lack of awareness is a thing, if I can be at a frequency that helps bring someone else's frequency up and expand that in any way, that is my focus right now. And I do that in multiple ways with different companies, but that's when I was trying to think about what is the base of what it is that I'm doing. And the base is helping people help themselves.
You and I have known each other for over 20 years.
Technically, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and we just recently reconnected, just call it, 2 or 3 years ago. And I would call us at best an acquaintance at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And recently we've kind of reconnected again, and it's maintaining a better level of intimacy with people around you and creating, these spaces for people to share, enjoy, and grow together.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a really great job of that. And thank you for allowing me into that space with you. And that's, part of the reason why we're here is to kind of share some of that. And I think that goes into, how you create that community around yourself. Like, how are you building those people using that mentality? How do you build these people up around you and create those spaces?
I think community is more important than anything right now. It's really easy for us to go into our own shell in our own, comfort of our home or safety of our home or whatever the case it is. And with the world being at the state, or maybe it's just the US, being at the state that it's in right now, I think community is everything. And just to be really transparent, it's not easy.
No.
Like, I am so much more comfortable in my home than I am outside of my home. Like, I am an introvert at heart. Like, I can get out there, but I would rather be at home on my couch with my cozy blanket.
Right.
But I see that community is needed. And I think as humans, we heal in community. And I think there's a lot of healing that needs to happen. And so it's a matter of just sharing that thought that I have with whoever I get an energetic vibe from to share. And maybe it's a little woo-woo, but it's all energy based.
We love the woo-woo here. So share all of it.
It's all energy based. And if I don't get that energetic pull from someone, I'm not going to share that side of what I do.
Right.
I might invite them into it or whatever the case it is, or, just listen about them and hear what they're doing and see how I can support them. But if I get that energetic pull from someone, it's like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? This is what I'm doing. This is what it looks like. What do you see your role in that? Do you see a role in that? And letting it evolve the way it's meant to evolve. I'm not someone who forces things. I am someone who initiates things for sure, but I will never be someone who forces things. And so it's a matter of just sharing. And I think that's something that we as a whole need to do more of in general, no matter what it is, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're trying to help or support or whatever the case. Share your dreams, share your passion, share your goals, share your whatever the case it is. And the people that are meant to be part of that will find you because you're speaking into it.
Do you think that there is, I guess, a level of people fail to find the comfort in the conversation, right? You're genuinely concerned about what that other person is doing as far as they're going to judge you. They're going to, have some sort of commentary, right? Not even just like they're going to question more, right? And you have to go more in depth, and maybe you wanted to share, but you don't want to go deep, right? And I think some of this too is you letting that guard down. It's something that I've worked a lot on the last few years, having children, working through all of that with them, making sure that I'm more present and creating those spaces. But how do you find yourself in that type of vibe, right? Like, how do you find when you're showing up and sharing and people don't reciprocate? Like, how do you handle that? Because it's been brought to my attention that, those are the things that make people uncomfortable. And it was, one of those things where it's like, I don't share the same philosophy, or I don't anything. It's like, great. I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very similarly, I'm not going to say I take it as a challenge, but I take it as a curiosity.
Yes.
And I'm like, tell me more about that. Like, I'm curious. Like, you don't have to agree with me. Great if you do, but also great if you don't, because then that creates growth. that creates a different realm of connection, that creates a different realm of uncomfortability, that creates a different realm of vulnerability. And I think those two words are things that so many people don't dive into. They're
Agreed.
used to comfort, and
Yes.
being uncomfortable is scary or frightening or whatever the word is for them. And we have been taught, at least our generation has been taught, that vulnerability is a weakness. And it's not. It's a strength. And so how can you tap into being uncomfortable? How can you tap in to being vulnerable? And in my opinion and in my experience, the more I open up vulnerability to someone who seems hesitant or seems contradictory or whatever the case it is, it's like their disagreement isn't actually a disagreement, it's a wall. And every time I'm more vulnerable or share differently or tap into what feels uncomfortable for me, it's like some bricks come down on their wall.
Yeah.
And sometimes it creates an amazing connection and we end up finding a lot of similarities. Sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay too. Like, for instance, we had our menopause fair last year was the first year we ever did it. We had no proof of concept, no nothing. And one woman said, you know, I'm just going to wait and see how it goes. I don't think I'm meant to be the person who comes in on the first year. And I was like, then you're correct. You're not meant to be the person who comes in on the first year.
Yep.
And she just looked at me like, what? Like expecting me to like fight her. And I was like, you do you, boo. Like, if you're not in it, I don't want you in it.
Correct.
Like, if you're not full force with me, you're going to drag me down.
If you don't believe in it, if you don't support it, if you don't genuinely have interest in it, don't come.
Yeah.
And, you know, and just to add on to that, because I know you know, but people listening don't. I was driving down a random street in Las Vegas, and I see a sign as I'm getting off the freeway, and I'm like, is that Jessica's thing? Yeah. And I was like, I think so. Yeah. Is it here? These big ass pink signs out of nowhere? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, let's follow them. So I follow these signs as we're driving to a sports event. We stop. Parking was atrocious. We finally sneak through the little, dirt parking lot. We walk in with the twins and we buy tickets and just go to say hi, right? Like, we were there to support. And again, it was such a great environment. Everyone was so helpful. Even the people directionalizing the parking, because it was rough, right, were great.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of what you did. And take that, right? Like, receive that well, because I know it wasn't easy. I know the location wasn't amazing, but it was great. It was the perfect size, the perfect setup. The rooms were right. Everyone was great. Yeah. And you did a lot of work for that. And you did something right, because you pulled me in off of a freeway to show up with my family. Yeah. And I can say I don't necessarily need anything at the menopause fair, but I was there for it. Yeah. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's great. And, I think that kind of leads into the next question is, when you're talking about like these vulnerabilities, your organizations that we'll get to in a second are very, almost entirely female focused. And that is where you found your sweet spot. That's where you feel your passion, your drive, your everything. And you had shared with me a few things. And I guess, do you find that vulnerability lacks from the gender perspective in your opinion? Or do you think that there's, obviously there's room for growth on both sides, but when you chose to do this and you're seeing that vulnerability, because you do have experiences where both, and we've discussed, your male coaching and your female coaching, I guess, what differentiates those things, and are those things present for you in a different way?
Yeah, I think this is like such a multifaceted answer. So yes, there is a different realm of vulnerability, and I have leaned towards helping more women, mainly because of my own personal experiences, and that's what I've gone through, and I can only speak from the female perspective. Do I help men? Yes. Are men included in everything I do? Yes, they are. However, it's a special man. Not many men are comfortable being in a room with primarily women.
Yeah. And I think that that's great that you're bringing it up that way, because this is something you and I think need to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's important to me.
Yes.
Right. And I'm so glad that you're doing these things, because I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love that we had the conversation, because I was like, wait, men are welcome. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need to work on my verbiage and the way I'm selling it as well. So men know they are welcome. But it's not all men that are welcome, because this is a female-driven environment. And if a man is coming in there with ulterior motives, that doesn't make the environment safe.
I want you to, this is something when we chatted, I was like, I don't want anything to ever appear to be combative or pointed.
Yeah.
Right. So explain what that means, because it's something you and I have talked a lot about, creating safe spaces. So how are you defining that safety in those environments? Because I do think what you're doing is so important. And I think it's really important for men to hear that there's an education there for you, but you have to show up with genuine curiosity and maintain the sanctity of the space. So kind of define that for everyone so they understand.
Yeah. I mean, I think the underlying aspect too is like, don't be creepy. Like, men can be creepy to women.
100%.
And don't be creepy. Like, that's the main thing. If you're coming in to learn about what your wife or partner or sister or daughter or whatever is going through, that's beautiful. If you want to come in, learn about your own like hormonal changes that happen as a man, that's beautiful. If you want to come in and just support and understand and be an advocate, that's beautiful. If you want to come in because it's a group of women and you want to be around a group of women, what's your motive behind
Right, not the environment for you.
Yeah.
This is not the conversational pit.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
exactly. And so check your motive. If your motive is pure, your motive is coming from your heart, beautiful. If your motive is coming from downstairs, you're not welcome.
Right. And again, just a great way to put it. And you and I don't mince words ever. And I think it's just great to just codify that for people. And I hope people listen.
Yeah.
It's something that you and I have really kind of taken to heart recently, is creating that safety so that everybody can come in and feel included. And I think it's important within your organizations, because you had shared with me a male group. And I said, I'd love to talk to you about this. And you're like, I don't know anything about it. We can talk about it, but I don't know what I can contribute to that conversation. And I'm like, but this is the contribution, right? And I shared with you that I genuinely don't support those types of groups, because they are typically very one gender focused and don't allow the outside gender. And I don't believe that that's an inclusive environment. So this conversation started because I'm like, are you creating an inclusive environment? And you're like, yes, but I could probably do better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. I didn't know that you were.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just only this and that's it. And you're like, no, we want this. We want to have panels. We want all this conversation around it.
Yeah.
And then, there were other things that we discussed when you're like, I think there's a better way to present this. I'm like, yeah, because for me, if someone said, hey, I think there's something there for you, I would genuinely like you to show up.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would be there for you, right? And I think that also creates another talking point for people to share. So I'm glad we're talking about this, because I think your organizations do amazing things. And like I shared at the time, I send people to you all the time. I have another person for you to share after this podcast, because I think both of you are so aligned on so many things that growing together, I think, should be an asset to your organization. But I always send you people. It has nothing to do with what I genuinely don't believe as what I support, because I support you and I support what you're doing for people, because I do believe what you're doing is so important to so many people, specifically so many women, that they need to have that support system where they feel safe and can reach out to one of these people and say, I genuinely need your help or your advice.
Yeah.
And they believe that it's coming from a genuinely safe place.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. So again, I think you're doing amazing work.
Thank you.
So I guess talk about your organizations and what they are. I just kind of, go as deeper as surface level as you want.
Yeah. So I've got 3 major ones that are all women forward, not men exclusive. And I'll just kind of like go from the inception to the next one. So my first company, which is my own company, I'm the founder and CEO. It's called The Pause Effect. And there's a multi-purpose to the word pause in there. One is because I tend to work with very high achieving women. And us high achieving, let's call them overachieving or super achieving women. We tend not to pause. we go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. I'm guilty of it. I'm doing it today. Uh, I am a lesson in this as well. And we tend to just go, 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 go. And we don't take any pauses for ourselves. And that pause, there's a lot of power and magic and beauty in pausing for ourselves. Even if it's just 2 minutes in your car away from your kids to just breathe. That does wonders for us as women and our hormones and our body and our mental health and so many things. And then the second aspect to that is menopause. And anytime I say the word menopause, people look at me and they go, like kind of the dog that turns their head.
Right.
They're like, why are you talking about menopause? And it's because of all of the, perfect storm of my life. I entered perimenopause at the age of 32, and I was dismissed and gaslit and disregarded, and by friends, by family, by doctors, by everyone in my life, because I'm like, something is wrong with me. And they're like, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're too young for any of these things. Like, you're fine. Just typical push through. We hear this a lot and I can only speak from the women's perspective, but as women, we hear, oh, just push through it, push through it, push through it.
I think that what you're saying though is even more relevant than that. And I hope people listening are gonna, take the advice of not sacrificing yourself, right? And not accepting that as an answer. It's something that I've also struggled with because I wanted a colonoscopy at 30. I've been going to see a heart doctor because my mom had her first heart attack at 34 or something, right? And I was going twice a year to get a full EKG, a chest x-ray, and a stress test, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that, right?
Yeah.
So I hope people listening are hearing this story and saying, it's important for you to stand up for yourself, believe in what you feel, right, is happening, and get answers.
Yeah. You are the expert of your body.
Yes.
And I think we have outsourced that expert for too long. And it's time to come in and advocate yourself. You are the only person who has lived in your body. You are the only person knows who and how and what and all the things that your body experiences on a daily basis. And you need to find practitioners who listen to that and not overwhelm that.
Right.
And so I created the pause effect basically to be the practitioner that I never had. And I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm a lifestyle practitioner. I don't believe in our medical system. I think it's fucked right now. And I personally will never be a doctor, even though all my certifications probably would put me at doctorate level, because I just don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I'd rather create something new than try to move Titanic. That's just not the way my brain functions. I'm like, I could try to come in there and be a little penny in the Titanic, or I could create something new and make an evolution.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, these documentaries that are coming out and explaining how Eastern medicine influences Western, and people just don't understand the functionality of, what, not just from a supplementation standpoint, like taking vitamins, but you can go and take, these functional mushrooms and in tinctures and pills and whatever, but you can go take all these things and there's a genuine benefit behind it that you don't have to rely on these things. And you have a better understanding of your body when you're doing those types of things. And I do believe in those elimination things too, right? Get everything out of your body, focus on, a singularity, and then start to reincorporate things so you understand what was affecting you, because it could be environmental.
Could be.
Right? It could be.
Yeah.
And you just don't know because you've just had that thing for so long, and it just say it's caffeine because that's the easiest thing. Your body doesn't respond well to it, and you've just overloaded yourself for decades.
Yeah.
And now you're like, okay, I'm going to eliminate it. I'm like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm awake.
Yeah.
I probably never needed that. And I did it because everybody else was doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think that's a big part. And so, no, I'm not a medical doctor, but yes, I'm a lifestyle practitioner. So my second company is called the Hot Flash Heroes, and it's me partnered with a medical doctor. And so I don't ever want to be out of my scope.
Right.
And I want to have medical professionals, because at some point, lifestyle only gets you so far, and you do need medical intervention or support in some way.
Are you incorporating that person for leadership? Are you incorporating that person for validation, verification? What is the purpose of you partnering with that doctor? How does that aid in what you're doing?
So she's a hormone specialist.
Okay.
And so hormone therapy specifically. And so at some point, there comes a time when your lifestyle is in the right place, or maybe you need hormone therapy first to feel good enough to do the lifestyle things. It depends on the person and how they come to me. Some people can go right into the lifestyle, and then the hormone is the optimization at that point. Some people are in such chaos that they need the hormones first to feel better so we can make the lifestyle improvements. And so we were referral partners back and forth for years. And then last year, she came to me and said, hey, I want to create a community event. And I want it to be an educational event for all women and their supporters to be able to understand what is happening to give education and empowerment. And the only person I will do this with is you. Do you want to do it? And I was like, ooh, I've never done that before, but let's figure it out. Why not?
Right.
And we created the Menopause Fair, and it went better than we could have ever expected. And we've outgrown that venue. And now we're in a 20,000 square foot venue for this year, which is scary as hell, but also like invigorating and exciting. And so the Menopause Fair went so well, we decided to go into business together. And so we created another business called the Hot Flash Heroes. And that business is primarily just our annual event that we do.
Got it.
It's always
such a great name, though. I love that, by the way.
The Hot Flash Heroes.
Yeah.
I was amazed that it was available when we went to get it. I was like,
isn't it fun when you do that, right? Like you create something like, and I'm not going to call it you're not in brand development right now, but when you're creating something for that brand and you go online and you're like, it's available.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the pause effect too.
Such a great win.
I could not believe, because pause effect was taken all over the place. But if you Google pause effect, I am literally the only one. Unless that's changed since I changed the name, there was nothing. And I always tried to correct to effect. I'm like, no, I want effect for a very specific reason.
Right.
And that was like, I had put it into chat and it was like, you found the unicorn brand. And I was like, yes. And it was just, that extra like validation that you get from it. And then, so that's an event that we do every year in October. For 2026, it'll be October 17th, the day before World Menopause Day. And that is a day to come in and hear speakers. We'll have 15 different speakers. We'll have over 50 different vendors. And it's
still going to be one day this year, or is it going to be two?
It's still just one day this year. Next year, we'll go to two.
Nice.
One day is a massive production, so we're not quite ready to go to two, but I think next year we'll be ready to go to two. And that is for women and their supporters. We encourage bringing husbands and sons and daughters and grandmas and sisters and best friends and all of the things to come in and just learn and be empowered and educated. And the general admission ticket is $10. Like, it's meant to be
super
community.
Affordable.
Yes.
Yeah. Very entry level.
Yes. I mean, we have VIP tickets available and all that kind of stuff if you want extra special attention and all of those things. But the goal is just to have a place where even if you can't afford healthcare in this moment, you can probably afford a $10 ticket to come learn from all of the experts and be in their presence to be able to understand what's happening and at least have the tools to be able to make a couple steps forward in wherever you're feeling. And then the third company I just took over last month. It's called eWomen Network, and it's a women's networking company for entrepreneurs. And we allow men to come in. We just happen to be women forward. And in our chapter, we don't specifically have any men, but global wide, we do have quite a few men in it. And not that we can't have them in our chapter, we just haven't found the ones who want to come in yet. Right. So if you're interested, let me know.
Well, it's something you and I talked about. I'm like, I don't do the guys stuff, right? Like, I don't watch football. Like, I don't do those types of things. And it's like, I would be more inclined to go to that luncheon once a month and have that conversation with people and share that space than I am to go watch the Super Bowl, as an example, or go watch a UFC fight. Yeah,
exactly. And the whole purpose of that event, that company, the mission is to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. It's very education forward, very focused on this is how you are a CEO, this is how you become a CEO, this is how you act as a CEO, very education forward. And then we have small group events and large group events.
I love that ethos. I think that that's such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Is that organization, I know you're new to it from a director, is this something they're tracking? Is this something they're maintaining those analytics?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's it looking like?
Yeah. I don't have the analytics, but I can find them for you. We have a conference that we do every year in August, and we have we call them FemTour Awards, and one of the awards is Made It to $1 Million. And so anytime that someone in anybody's chapter makes it to $1 million for that year as gross revenue, they get submitted for that award and they're recognized on stage and all of that. So there are definitely metrics for it. I just don't have it. And then it's very focused on helping women. Like our first two values are give first, share always, and then lift others as you climb. And the company runs on 9 values. And it's very, how can we help you? How can I support you? How can I lift you up? What is it that you need? And it's meant to be a space that is not traditional networking where it's business card dealing. And
Did you and I send each other voice notes?
Yeah.
And I love it, right?
Love
It's
it.
so much better than a text,
Yes.
Except for when I forget to keep it.
Yep.
But it's something you've always asked,
Mhm.
right? That question.
Yeah.
And was that incorporated into your life beforehand, or is this something that you've kind of made your own, right? It's because you genuinely ask that every time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and did it come with that organization, or did you already have that as kind of part of your vernacular?
That's a really good question. And I think it came from the Broadmoor.
Okay.
I think that's just, it's been ingrained in me forever. Like, what is it that you need? How can I support you? What are you needing in this moment? Because
I think it's such a beautiful way too, though.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to give you credit for that, because we talked about it on the last podcast about how we build community and support each other, right? Because a lot of people expect something for free.
Yep.
Right. And it's something you and I have discussed, and it's, how can I support you? Right. How can I show up for you?
Yeah.
And whatever that means. Right. And you and I always talked about, like, it's time.
Yeah.
Like we don't have enough of it.
Yeah.
But I'm always willing to share some of it with you.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really cool that you've incorporated that into who you are. Right. And it's something that I'm using, right, as some of the verbiage that I share with people now, right? Because it's something that I've shared with friends previously. And Mel's thing was always like, thank you for your time. Yeah. Right. And it really freaked some people out, because they're like, it's so weird. Like, it feels dirty. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, what do you mean? Thank you for sharing your time. Like, we're genuinely appreciative of the time that you gave us.
Yeah.
You just gave us 3 hours just to play board games.
Yeah.
But how important is that? That's 3 hours you're never going to get back. It's
Yeah.
3 hours you can't share with your kids. It's 3 hours you can't do anything else. Right? And when you finally define it for someone, they're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, we're really bad gift givers.
Oh, same.
Right? Awful.
Same.
But I will show up.
Yeah.
Right? I will give you all the time in the world. Right?
Yeah.
You need to repair your car. You need to fix something. You need to, whatever, doesn't matter. Pick me up. Drive me here.
Same.
Done. Again, I want people to hear that, right? Like, support people.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that means to them. But
Yeah.
asking them opens that door for them to say, this is genuinely what I need. Right? Because I always explain to people that, the gift giving side of it, right? Like, I'm not giving to receive.
Yep.
Right? I'm giving because I can, right? I paid for dinner because I can.
Yeah.
I invited you over for brunch, and I cooked all this food, and I didn't ask you to clean it up because I can.
Yeah.
I genuinely wanted you to be here.
Yeah.
Right. So just understand that gift is for you. Like, we're here to give that. Yeah. And I hope people realize that.
I think that is an important thing too for anybody who's listening, who's like, ooh, I want to take that, how can I support you, and implement that. Do not have expectations.
Yes. I think,
on what you get back
Yes.
because you're supporting someone. That's not support. That's manipulation.
Whatever it is, whatever that is uncoupled.
Yes.
Right? It's not attached to anything.
Yes.
Right? It's left and it's free.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. I think that is where there is a disconnect sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, I gave to you. What do you give to me?
Yes.
And that's not support.
It is not the way it works. So please, if you're doing that, please stop. Right? Because that's not the way this works.
Nope.
We're here for that.
Yes.
Right? And that is such a beautiful way to put it too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. I guess that, I think, really leads into the next question I wanted to ask you is, throughout all these interactions, you're building these companies, like, you're now a director of a company, and it's bigger than probably what you wanted to step into.
Oh, yeah.
How are you finding people when they present, because you're teaching leadership? How important is the world now? Because, we kind of talked about it at the beginning where, things are a little sideways, but how are you incorporating, the educational piece for leadership and incorporating emotional intelligence into that? Because I think something people aren't focused enough on is what that emotional intelligence looks like or means to them.
Yeah.
Because you're showing up, but you're not giving the things that should be given, right? You're sharing the trauma and not in a productive way.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I think if you can touch on how that affects you and how you're incorporating that, because it's not just hospitality, but we've been one of the principal abusers of that for so long, and now it's kind of just coming to fruition for everyone.
Yeah, and I think that that's where hospitality is shifting. And if you have emotional intelligence, it's shifting to this really beautiful place.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the place of emotion intelligence, you're checking boxes.
Right.
And I think that's where the big shift is. And it didn't even dawn on me until the way you were saying that. I was like, oh, that's what it is. And emotional intelligence is something that it's innate for some people. It's also learned for most people, and it's a skill to develop. And if you are not actively working on developing emotional intelligence, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like there's something that comes from developing that. And through leadership and through educating and through, I think a big part of it is also modeling it. Yes, you can educate it, but how many of us have been told something by someone who doesn't do it, and you're like, well, what do you know? Because you're not doing it. And I think the best way to educate is through modeling and through showing up that
Agreed.
way.
Yes.
And if you're not showing up that way, you need to tap into yourself as a leader and say, what do I need so I can show up that way? And in my opinion, I am an educator at heart, but also you can only teach so much. And so if there's ever a thing that I'm seeing that's not happening in one of my organizations, I look at me first and say, what is it that I'm not doing or I am doing that needs to be altered so the culture alters as well, because it comes from the top down, always. And yeah, there could be bad eggs at the bottom, but if the top isn't handling that
I love using the term modeling is better than leading by example, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just the old school way of kind of defining it. I think modeling is a beautiful way to say, how are you showing up for these people and demonstrating every day instead of, practicing what you preach, right?
Yeah.
Like as being the other way to say it. I think that's great.
Yeah. If I come in to run, let's just say one of my half-day events, and I come in, I'm chaotic and I'm running around all over the place and my energy is scattered, and I'll pull some woo-woo in there. I'm a manifester in the human design world, and my energy directly impacts every single person around me. And so if I come in and I'm not in a place of being grounded, and I'm not in a place of being where I need to be to support and regulate everyone around me, which all you manifestors out there, like, I got you. I get it. It's hard. But if I'm not in that place, shit kind of hits the fan.
Right.
And so it comes from me first. I have to take a moment and go breathe and ground myself. And in our events, I use our values as a grounding technique, because you mentioned presence before. I think presence is one of the things that is lacking in a lot of areas. And so if we can start from a place of grounding all of us in the room and saying, we are now present in this room. Let's leave the flat tire that happened on the way here, and let's leave the phone calls that won't stop happening, and let's leave all the drama that happened in your day, and truly be present with the people around you for the next hour, 2 hours, however long it is. That within itself changes everything.
How do you incorporate that balance? Like, how do you show up that way and explain that to people?
It's been a lot of personal work. So I will directly say, when we start an event, we're going to get grounded right now. I say what I'm doing. So people are like, oh, we're getting grounded right now. And I purposely say the words, everything that happened in this morning is now outside of this room. I'm not asking you to suppress it. I'm asking you to leave it outside of this room and give the beautiful gift of presence to all of the people who are around you, because you will benefit from it just as much as they benefit from it. And then we go through a practice of saying we have 9 values. I'm speaking for eWomen's Network specifically. We have 9 values, and we will come in and we will speak those 9 values before every single meeting. And that is a way to get grounded and say, oh yeah, we're giving first and sharing always. Oh yeah, we're lifting others as we climb. Oh yeah, we're an inclusive organization. Oh yeah, on all of these things. Inclusivity is actually one of our values.
I love that.
And it sets the culture and the tone of the room.
Well, you're centering everyone when they show up, right? It's I've always believed in, not having this poster of all these things that are important, but I think there is a way to incorporate that like at a time clock and just saying, how did you check these 4 or 5 things off when you walked in here, right? And get your mind right. You know what I mean? And be here.
Yeah.
Right? Be here. I understand that there's things going on, but be here.
Yeah.
Like, let's be here together.
Yeah.
And, if you need something, ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, I love the way you do that. And I think that's great that you start the meetings that way. Like, I really do believe it probably gives people a laser focus in that moment.
Yeah. I think there's the second part to it is the ambiance. And that's where I think the hospitality background comes into play, because the visual of how everything looks. And when I took over, I switched it to this kind of clustered area to a more expansive area. And we put tablecloths down. And I now have a playlist that's like a very like empowering affirmation style playlist. And it's not this like hype music. It's like this kind of calming flow to the music. And that alone, like music is magic in so many ways. And so that you come in and you see calm, you come in and you hear calm, and it naturally regulates you without knowing it regulates you.
Yeah, you entered in that organization. You and I had discussed it, and it's a term I use because I worked for a lot of people that have kind of gone in and revamped, taken over operations, not hostily by any means, but like you're walking in and you're a new management team and people are very threatened by that, right? So you just walked into a new organization and people are threatened by that interaction. And I use the term evolution, right? And I think you and I spoke very similarly. And it's like, hi, I'm not here to change anything. We're going to evolve everything. And that's something my mentor shared with me in the restaurant space is we don't change anything. We evolve the dish, right? The sauce changes on the salmon, the dressing changes on the salad. And people aren't off put by it. We still have, 5 of the 6 components. We changed 1.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the new dish.
Yeah.
Right? Because we evolved it.
Yeah.
And I think people have to be a little bit more flexible in the evolution because we're not doing anything to hurt.
Yeah.
Right? We're doing everything to help.
Yeah.
Right? And just understand in those evolutions, we're here to experience it together.
Yeah.
I guarantee there's a change you're going to make that just does not work.
Of course.
I can probably say we're not going to go back to that way, though. We're going to evolve again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how great is that we're okay with the evolution? I need you to be okay with the evolution today.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow we're going to be okay with the evolution.
Yeah.
And we'll take all the feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the word change is scary for most. I'm not going to say for all. For me, I love change. I'm like, let's change. Let's bring it on. But there's a place for that. And so I was very intentional and still am because this is only 40 days into running.
Yeah, I was like barely, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like not that long. And so I intentionally use the word evolution. I also intentionally use the word shift.
That was the other one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because shift doesn't feel scary.
Correct.
Evolution doesn't feel scary. Change feels scary. And I think that's another thing to model from the top down. Language matters.
It does.
And the language you use matters. And if you're not working on your NLP skills and working on your language skills and working on your tone and your pace and your manners, and you're not working on those things as a leader, everybody in the room feels it.
How do you, I guess I want to touch on that because I don't do it well enough. What I don't do is I don't openly correct people until I feel like it's just not getting through, right? So I try to avoid the correction, but I do want to use the word, whatever it is, repeatedly, and I will repeat it back and use again and again. How do you, I guess maybe the more politely incorporate those words for people so they start to accept them?
I like to say, let me help you reframe that. Or allow me to reframe that.
I actually say that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I've incorporated the reframe into my vernacular.
Yeah. And I would say 80% of the time it goes well. 20% of the time it doesn't. And I just say, that was all meant with love. I'm going to let you sit with it. And if you want to talk about it later, we can talk about it later.
Sure.
And I think hearing it came from love is helpful because it's not an attack. It's nothing along those lines. And more often than not, just let me help you reframe there, or can I reframe that real quick? Or however it comes out of my mouth. Reframe is very much in there. And people are like, oh, that is a better way to say it. Or, oh, that is. And usually I get the, oh, as the initial feedback.
I think I'm
from
like,
it.
may I reframe that for you?
Yeah.
And take it or leave it.
Mhm.
I would like you to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right. And then, whether or not you choose to accept it is still on you.
Yeah, it's on you.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
Mhm.
One of the other questions I had is, what advice would you give people that are, walking into these spaces and maybe not necessarily starting their own thing,
Mhm.
but what advice would you give someone that's starting something new?
Yeah.
Again, entrepreneurship is always going to be scary, right?
Yeah, and hard.
But you're also part of things
Yeah.
that, aren't yours. You're making them yours, right? You're becoming part of the organization,
Yeah.
but you're taking a huge step up for yourself.
Mhm.
What advice would you give someone that kind of gives them comfort, confidence, any of those things?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest ones is everybody in that room understands where you are at. Everybody has been there in the beginning. And the beginning is scary. And I think as an entrepreneur, you have to have a realm of ego
Sure.
to say, I can go and do this on my own. I'm going to make something. I think the lesson behind entrepreneurship is how do you shift that ego? And how do we go from that ego of, I can do this, to how can others help me do this? How can I not know everything? How can I show up from a place of curiosity? How can I show up from a place of, what does this look like, and who can support me, and how can I receive support? And that's something that if I went back to myself as the baby entrepreneur I was, however many years ago that was, I wish I would have led with more curiosity. I came in with like, I know what I'm going to do, and I think I know it all, and all of these things. And did I do that to 100% degree? No, but I did it in places where if I would have seeked out mentorship or seeked out support or been comfortable asking for help, I actually would have got a lot of places quicker. And I think there's this realm of, I think it has to be this way, so how do I figure it out this way? And I built my companies backwards. And that's because I had an ego about it when I came in. And I wish I would have just been more open in the beginning to learn. Like I thought I had to have, and this is part of the manifestor in me, the big vision first and then reverse engineer it, because that's the logic side of me as well. And yes, you do have to know where you're going and where you want to go, but there's not one path to get there.
Sure. And it's more important to just start, right?
Yeah.
Take the first step.
Definitely you have to start. You can get into executive paralysis or decision fatigue or whatever the case it is very easily. And I have a bookmark that I taped to my monitor, and it says, do it scared, do it messy, just do it. And that is something that was really hard for me as what I like to say, a recovering toxic perfectionist, that I was so afraid to actually do something because it wasn't going to be perfect. And in the grand scheme, no one's going to know what you're doing in the beginning because you're so small. It's not like your website goes up and it blasts the world.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, let me go to the website. Nah, like maybe one person sees it if you send it to them.
Oh, I was mental about my website, and Mel kind of took that to heart, and like we've ripped it to shreds, and we rip it to shreds every day.
Yeah.
And I love my website.
Yeah.
But it is so crazy how nitpicky you can get. Like we've deleted pages, like we've hid things because I'm like, that's not good enough, right? And it's like, I don't think it's relevant now. And yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, especially because most entrepreneurs have some realm of overachieving or perfectionist in them. And that can hold you back so much. Like it's better to like put something out there and make it better than try to have it quote unquote perfect before you do it.
How did you create that reflection for yourself? Like, how did you find that?
So hard.
I guess what advice would you give someone through that space too, is like, how do you find that safety and comfort in the reflection and to see the growth that you can have?
Yeah, there's this one moment that's coming to my brain, and I still technically do, but I don't focus on this as much anymore just because of the time, and I'd like to get back to it at some point. But I used to do retreats for that one was specifically a female only retreat for struggling teens and young adults. And I had a very traumatic childhood, and I have always wanted to give back and help people who are traumatized in whatever fashion that their trauma comes from. I don't compare trauma. Trauma is trauma. And so we were doing these retreats, and I was facilitating it along with a couple other people. And one of the practices that we did was we had a blank canvas, and we were writing a letter to ourselves of something that we were getting rid of, something that we wanted to let go of, something we wanted to release. And for me, my biggest thing that was holding me back was perfectionism. And so I made a point to say, okay, I'm going to write the letter. Actually, no, before that even happened, the owner of the company was like, Jessica, you're actually going to sit and do this with the kids. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just take pictures. And she goes, no, you're going to sit and do this practice. And I was like, but I don't want to. And she goes, I don't care. You're going to sit and do the practice. And I was like, oh. And so I wrote the letter of getting rid of perfectionism. And then we were to paint a picture over top. I'm not the best painter, so I just did like an abstract looking picture. And she goes, now make it messy. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, mess it up. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, change this, make it messy, make it not look perfect. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, I don't know how else to say that. Like, make it messy. And I go, I don't want to. And she goes, you're getting rid of perfectionism. This looks perfect. How can you make it not look perfect? This is your first step. And I was like, I fucking hate you. This is awful. I don't want to do this. And so like I got, it still ended up looking pretty, and she yelled at me again. And so I ended up getting like paint on a paintbrush, and I was like, choo, 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 and like made like little splatters.
Sure.
And she goes, well, that's different than how you had it, but that's not messy. And I was like, yes, it is. It's really messy. And she goes, that's not messy. That's still beautiful. And I was like, what do you want me to do? This is awful. I hate this. And she goes, I really want you to make it messy. So I was just like, fine. And it was a disaster. And I was like crying through this whole process because, you know, you're processing so many things. And I learned a really cool thing yesterday, that our chemical components of our tears change based on the reason why we're crying. Did you know this?
I didn't.
So I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Now I want to learn the chemical components of our tears. And so that was the first step into it. And I still have that painting in my office to remind myself.
How old were you when you had this experience?
Oh, this was only a few years ago. So 2021.
Perfect. Yeah, you don't have to give the age.
Yeah.
But this wasn't early.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is later on.
Yeah. This was 5 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
So again, I think all that's important for people here too.
Yeah.
Right? Like this growth is going to happen for you regardless. Take the time now.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever today is.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 20. I don't care if you're 40. Educate yourself on all this stuff now, and have these spaces for yourself, because I'm not saying the faster you learn it, the better it is, but the more time you invest in yourself and figuring these things out, it's going to be better for you, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I, we came up in a very fast-paced, a very high-demand restaurant industry with uncompromising standards.
Yep.
And could we have done it better? Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Could we have shared those spaces better? Sure. Would I have? I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
And I can genuinely say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to say, if I had all the knowledge I have today, I would have shown up differently. Yeah. But I don't know that that's true.
Yeah. I don't know either. And there's a lot of hostility in the environments when we were, I think it's less so now. Like I would walk in and you're prepared to duck because chef could throw some plates.
Yeah.
And that was just part of it. And so you go into this like fight or flight or freeze mode sometimes in that. And if you don't feel physically safe, you're not going to be vulnerable. And so I think that's part of, I don't know if I would do anything differently either, because I didn't feel safe.
If you went back, because it's something that I've been reflecting on lately, and I think it'll be interesting to hear your perspective from the Broadmoor. Do you ever go back? Because the restaurant, I'll share the restaurant that we worked at, because I'm just going to make this an example because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
at 9.
Yeah.
Failure
Mm,
for
not-
1,000 different reasons, not just because of the people in the space, because of the people that were invested in the space, because of the building that it was in, because of everything.
Mhm.
The people that owned that building,
Yep.
right? That owned that hotel casino. Failure was never an option. How do you think we've grown in that space? Because again, we don't embrace failures well enough at all.
No.
Right. And I think so much more learning, like we discussed at the beginning, failure teaches you more than a success.
Oh, massively.
Right. But we've created the toxicity around failure.
Yeah.
To have that uncompromising standard of, if you fail, you're going to get fired. You're not going to, I mean, whatever it is, whatever the negativity is that associated with it.
Mhm.
Did you have that when you started? Was that the culture of the Broadmoor? Right.
Yeah. That was the culture of everything. That's also the culture of what was in my soul. Failure was never an option for me. And that comes from conditioning. That comes from an immense amount of places. And it's actually another one, perfectionism was one that I purposely worked very hard towards. And failure was another one as well. And the way I work towards it is actually weightlifting, because you can lift to failure. And my personal trainer saw at the time that failure was a really big obstacle for me. And it was something that I would push against really hard. And there were so many times where, like, I'm getting close to the end and I naturally close my eyes to be able to push more. And he would go to, like, help me. And I'd be like, nope, I got it. Like, don't help me. I don't need to fail. I got it. Or we would be doing hip thrusts or whatever the case it is. And he's like, we're going to go till failure. And I would damage my body to not go to failure.
There's a meme out there right now that actually discusses that, where it's like, how come in bodybuilding, it's the only environment where failure
is a good thing,
leads to the most amount of growth.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the only place it's accepted, or whatever it says.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, it's not true. Failure is everything.
Failure is
right?
beautiful
for everyone. Right.
Yeah.
Because you're getting all that learning.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to cycle back to that, but because it's not a justification.
Yeah.
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the environments that were created,
Yeah.
that everyone thrived and excelled in,
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
Because again, I hate to say that we thrived in it, because I don't know that we weren't. We were surviving in it.
We were surviving, for sure.
And that has created the people we are today, though, right?
Yeah.
And that toxicity is being lessened every day.
Yeah.
And I think that there needs to be a recognition of those things too, though, right? Like, where the environments that were created have always been centered on the inability to fail because of what we're doing, right? This isn't, you installed the light switch wrong and it doesn't work and you can come back and fix it, right?
Yeah.
It's we always joke that we're not brain surgeons, right? Like we're it's not a hospital. Like, I'm not a doctor. It's not a life-threatening situation.
No.
And we treat it that way. But that is because that is the guest's expectation.
Yeah.
That we've assimilated and created this uncompromising toxic standard that isn't achievable the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Right. And specifically in the environments that we're in, because it's not ultra fine dining, slow pace, methodical tweezers. Like, this is, I mean, how many times has your food been wrong in the drive-thru? Right.
Yeah.
And people lose their mind.
Yep.
And it's like, we have created these expectations as a society. And all of us that have chosen to do this, and I don't care what it is, if you're the landscaper, if you're the plumber, if you're the carpenter, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Again, because this is customer service, you could be the person at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
I have stood in line at the pharmacy and seen these people dressed down for something that's out of that person's control.
Yep.
Right? How is that okay? And these people show up every day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we show up every day, and now you're trying to not fail.
Yeah. And
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a beauty in embracing failure. And from a leadership perspective, I get pinged on this a good bit, because we'll have a recap of our meeting and I'll say, how what went well, and I brushed through it pretty quickly because I want to know what didn't go well. I want to know what we can better and what we can fix. And I've had some of my seasoned leadership team just look at me and say, it went well. Appreciate that it did well. Like, give yourself credit for it going well. I'm like, yeah, I did. But like, I know we can make it better. And like, can you just sit in it going well for a minute? I'm like, fine. And I get like huffy about it. And it's something that I'm continuing still to work on.
I have a friend that's starting this organization. It's about pausing. Maybe you have to pause and
Maybe
just
there's some
accept that for
there.
yourself. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I talk about it all the time, but it's people also have to find acceptance.
Yeah.
Right? Take the feedback.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Doesn't require any commentary. It just requires your acceptance.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bad receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're obviously a bad receiver.
Literally, my word of the year is receiving.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on it. It's not easy when you've grown up being the person who you rely on. And learning to rely on other people is hard. Learning how to receive a compliment or support or help or money or whatever the case it is. It's not easy for us like hyper independent people. And I purposely made receiving my word of the year because of that. Because for me, it's not easy.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really great goal too, right?
Yeah.
I could probably steal that also. It's something I'm learning. You know, part of what we wanted to incorporate into what we're doing, and eventually I'm going to commit this to memory, so I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
Is we wanted to focus on mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we've always talked about, you know, there's a high amount of suicide in this industry and people take things to heart and they, you know, bring it home to their families and everything. And it's, I just can't stress it enough where, you know, some things just need to be left, you know, inside and outside. And it's always been a challenge for us. And if you could say one thing directly to people that are struggling, and I don't just want to make it hospitality, but the people that are struggling silently, what would you want them to hear from you today?
I think the first thing and ultimately the most important thing is you're not alone. When we are in this place of struggle, we think we're in this pit of doom and we're the only ones and we can't speak about it because no one else would understand and no one else has been there or is there. And every time you don't say a word, you just dig yourself deeper into that pit. And so the biggest thing is you're not alone and there is support, but no one can support you unless you allow them to support you.
Allow someone to be a ladder out of that hole.
Yes. And if you don't speak about it, we don't know. And we are programmed in hospitality to put a mask on. We are programmed to show we are great. We are smiling. We are happy. We are amazing. It's a programming that has to be deconditioned and rewired. And if hearing this starts the rewiring, then I'm so happy because you're not alone and support is there. But we can't support you if we don't know you need support. And asking for support may feel like the hardest thing on the planet, but it's going to be the most relieving thing that you can do.
Yeah, humility, vulnerability, I think are all really important. And in these spaces, we don't ever stress that enough because it's all about coming with strength, right? Yes. And I think what you said is also really relevant is we're always asking people to put on a mask, right? And I want everyone to hear that it's okay to not be okay today.
Yes.
Right. And I do believe that there is also some educational pieces that we need to incorporate where I always talk about this industry has always been kind of underpaid and people live paycheck to paycheck, but you have to find a way to incorporate some sort of cushion for yourself that if today's not okay, that you cannot show up. Right. And we've always been also, it's not from just a mental health, it's healthcare. It's all those other things where you know, we don't incorporate vacation for these people, PTO, whatever it is. And, you know, I've worked in this industry since I was 14 as well. I'm over 40. I'm 43 or 44 now. And you never, until recently, you never got vacation. You never got time off. It was, you're expected to be here 6-7 days a week.
Yep.
Because
Double
that's
shifts.
the expectation. Right.
Yep.
And we want you here 12 hours a day.
Yep.
And it's, again, all of those things have factored into why we underperform and why we've performed so poorly for people.
Yeah.
And I think all of those things are really good, important lessons that people need to hear now. And be part of the change, affect that change, show up for everyone and be better.
Yeah.
Is there anything you think that you can add to that? Like, from your perspective, what can you give to these people that you don't feel like you've talked about? Or is something else that you want to share that you think is really important?
Yeah, I think before I answer that, just something to add to it is it's okay to take a mental health day.
Yes.
And I think this younger generation is teaching me personally a lot about that because they are open to sharing. They are more in a realm of mental health matters, and they are in this realm of I'm taking a mental health day. We won't go into the amount of them or things like that, but there is a time that you need to check in with yourself and say, am I mentally well enough to go in today? Or am I going to be masking so hard that I'm going to be dismissing my body and dismissing my needs? And if you're in that place of anywhere on this side of the pendulum, you need to take a mental health day and ask somebody to cover your shift, or call in if you need to call in, or if you have sick days, use a sick day.
Showing up sick is not going to make you better.
No, it is not. And sick doesn't mean I have a cold. Mental health is sickness as well.
Correct.
And that being okay with coming in or saying, I'm not okay today. And again, this comes from the top down as well. The environment needs to be safe for that. But that's where even employees can start to help to change the environment, is if they say, I'm not well today, I'm not going to come in because I can't be my best self today. Employers need to hear that, and employers need to respect that. If it's taken to an extreme, that's another situation you have a conversation. But if it's here and there, like, that needs to be withheld, and there needs to be space for that.
And that's also the culture you create, right? Like, if you allow the abuse, then you're contributing to that too, right?
Yeah.
Just because people want to take advantage of something that they're entitled to doesn't mean that they're going to abuse it, right? Allow them to take the things that they're entitled to, right? And be a human, right? Because sometimes they may not be entitled to it, but just as a human being and understanding, they need it, right? And give them that grace.
Yeah. And if you have to call somebody in last minute, or you have to be on the floor yourself and helping expo and run and do all the things, like, that's okay.
I think that's a really great example too. And, I don't want to circle back too far, is I do think when we were coming up in this, specifically at 9, no one was omitted from participation. Every chef was in that building. Every chef participated. Every chef worked their ass off. So every manager that worked the floor worked their ass off. Right? And now you have that culture of, I'm the chef, I'm just going to sit in the office. I'm the GM. Like, I have people to do that. Right? And I see that in so many different aspects where you have directors that don't participate, you have people that don't show up every day, and I think people need to hear that too. Right?
Like, not my job.
Right. Your level of participation and presence is more important today than it ever was. Because I think that is where the lacking is coming from. Is because people aren't showing up to model what was important. Or what is important. What else?
I mean, I think we covered a lot. I think the only thing I would leave you with is, if you don't take time to reflect on yourself and on your actions and your decisions and your choices, that's the first place to start. Reflection is huge. And if reflection is difficult for you, ask your best friend and tell them to be truthful with you. Or ask your manager and tell them to be truthful with you. And it's sad that we have to caveat that, like, be truthful with me. I want to hear feedback. Listen to that feedback and do something about that feedback, because nothing's going to change if you don't start change within yourself.
I have a friend that actually says something very similar, and that is his way of codifying it. I wouldn't be a good friend if I wasn't giving you that honest feedback. Right? And that is for you to go and process. So yeah, I think that's the reflection is a great point. I think that's a good way to end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you. I think it was great.
Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the ability to just come in and chat and spend some time with you as well. This was, I think it's going to be eye-opening for some people. So I hope it is.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you.